Okay, so we're here at our next project, and today this project is going to be fixing a valve. As you can see, this lowest sprinkler here is leaking water out. When it's doing that, when the sprinklers are leaking water out constantly, very slowly, little bits, that means there's a valve that is partially open, usually due to the valve seals sometimes can have some foreign debris in them, or the seal can actually go bad as well. So we're going to turn on the bleeder valve here, make sure there's the right valve. I think I hear something. Look. Nothing. What's it doing? Anything went off. This one might have been turned off. I think I gotta. So this right here, this valve turns the pressure up and down. So I think this has been turned all the way down. So we're gonna have to turn that back up in order to get those sprinklers working. Okay, so we're gonna turn this on. Now should work. Oh, I hear something. Yep, that's it. So that's the valve that needs to be replaced. Alright, so we're going to go back over here, turn this off. Sometimes when you use the bleeder bolt, the water won't turn off. So if that should happen, then what you got to do is shut off the main shutoff valve to the sprinklers, which is this right here, for this system. So that's what you'd have to do. So we'll turn this on. And then we'll shut it off, see if that shuts it off. Yep, that shut it off. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and replace this valve, this whole piece here. And so let's get to work. Get to work. Let's do a little digging and make it work. So I'm going to show you a few tricks to the trade as we go through this video. There's some problems that can occur, and I'm going to show you some ways to get around those problems. So now that it's dug out, we can cut the valve, and we'll cut on the side where the water is flowing out to the sprinklers first. That's always best. Sometimes that pipe will crack, and you'll have to recut it. So now we got the valve off. And clean it up a little bit. So we got some excess glue right here. I'm going to have to scrape that off because it'll interfere with putting the coupler on there. So we'll have to scrape that off a little bit. So I usually use a razor blade and just kind of chip it off. Sometimes it'll just old glue will just chip off. And then you got to just kind of smooth it out a little bit so that you'll have a nice smooth finish to it. Always want to get that excess glue off. This might cause a leak later. Alright, then we're just going to take some rough sandpaper, kind of sand the edge so that it's a little bit smoother and not raised. That way when the glue goes, when the coupler goes on, the glue doesn't just get pushed off to the edges, but it'll mold around it better. Same this. I'm going to go ahead and sand the sides a little bit so it gets a really good grip on it. Then it'll make it, we'll be able to put the power, or we'll be able to put the water pressure back on quicker, because it'll hold a little bit better if there's some rough edge to it. Otherwise we'd have to wait like 30 minutes. This way we only have to wait like 10 or 15. So luckily there's a little bit of water coming out, so that's good because we're gonna push it out. That way any gunk plastic that got in there, it comes right out and clears that so it doesn't get into the valve. Clean this off a little. So instead of putting tape around this or the pipe dope, we're just going to glue them right on, because if it breaks, you're going to have to cut. You're just going to throw this valve away anyway. So it's a lot simpler to just cut it off and put on a new one like we did with the other one. Don't need a whole lot of glue, just enough to fill in the gaps of it. Then you got to put it on very quickly, because it'll freeze up on you quick. So we're also going to sand the inside of this one a little bit. Just enough to roughen it up. This one. So those are about even. That'll make it easier to pop on there. So if you can see, it's a little bit short, a little bit too wide for us. So we could either put a couple of angles like this, or we could just dig out these two areas on the sides here, and then just push it in. So we're just gonna dig out this inside and push this pipe in a little bit so we can make it easier, a better match. Before we dig that out though, we're gonna cover them a little bit so we don't get dirt inside there. Alright, well that'll work. So when you do this, you want to make sure that the water flowing out is going with the arrow when you put these valves in. So this is going to go this way. The main line is coming along here, and this is where the water is coming up, and it goes over and then goes out once it just turns on. We're going to go ahead and turn this. We're going to go ahead and turn this on. so there'll be no, the pressure won't build up on it. When this water starts to rise up, it'll put pressure in here and make it want to pop off. So we turn it on so that if the pressure does go up, it doesn't force this thing to pop up. So basically, we don't want the water pressure, the residual water pressure from pushing the valve. So what we're going to do is, that's why we turn the valve on, so that any pressure just flows right through and doesn't try to pop off the valve while it's trying to dry. And as you see, we'll put about an inch of glue on those bottom pipes and do the main line pipe first, or last rather, with the glue to make sure it's a nice solid connection. Alright, there she is. Our main issue is that this valve was leaking constantly, and so now that we put this new valve on here, it won't be leaking constantly. It'll be just off. All right, so let's clean it up and get to the next project. Okay, so it's been about 15 minutes since we replaced this valve, so we're gonna go ahead and make sure that it's on, and then we're gonna turn the water on because we don't want air pressure to be stuck in here. So that's why we're turning it on, and then we're gonna turn the water on slowly. Slowly. No leaks. That's good. And we can turn this off. Bring it to full pressure. No leaks. That's normal for it to do that. It just, the excess water that's in the pipe just pops out. So we got no leaks. Maybe I shouldn't have packed this in before I tested it. Looks all good. No leakies. It's bueno. No leaks. All right. So this is all good to go, and we're going to be taking off from here. So thanks for tuning in with this episode, and we'll see you next time. Now get back to work.